Good morning, YouTube family. Welcome to Zoe's Garden. Today I want to talk about raised bed gardening or container gardening. As you guys know, gardening is back-breaking work. So I wanted something different this year. So I wanted to raise my bed and actually have a large container gardening. So I had my husband, my handy dandy husband, build me these large containers. And I saw these on Amazon, and they're about $300 each. So last year I had him build me some. They are, you come closer. These are just 2x2 metal posts, and these are 8 foot long in this section of cedar board, and there are, I believe, like 1x8 cedar, and there's 2 rows of them, and this is the side. So they're roughly 8 foot long and 2 foot wide. Now these are about a year old. And what he did, this is probably his first box that he started on. He did not build a 2x4 metal frame. So what happened was, excuse me, after one season of growing, the bottom started collapsing. So this year, when we took out all the old soil and amended it and put some new soil in there, he had to go back and add this 2x4 frame to support the bottom. And then last year, it was all really pretty after he built it. We had used black screws, so it was all beautiful red cedar color with black screws. But this year, he took all the black screws out because they were starting to rust. Went with something more practical. Was this deck screws. So save you guys the trouble. Don't try to make it pretty. Just make it functional so it doesn't fall apart. So I would just use deck screw right off the bat, even though it's not as pretty as the black screws. And this is his first box. And you can see this is the second box in the same issue. He did not build the 2x4 frame structure last year. So by the time he did the third box, he's like, why don't I build a 2x4 internal frame? So that's what he did on this one. And you see, he didn't have to add a 2x4 to support the bottom this year. But he did take out the black screws and added the deck screws, because the black screws were rusting. And this is my garden. This is the raised bed where I don't have to bend over, and you guys can do the same. And then on my next video, I'm going to talk about container gardening. You see I have my fruit trees here, my sugar apple, mango, and avocado. Hopefully next year I'll have some fruit to show you guys. This is my cilantro. It's already bolted, went to seed. I'm trying to save my seeds. Once the seeds dry out, I can save them. Trying to protect my lettuce. My lettuce seedlings had a big storm yesterday, and hopefully they make it through. Here's my arugula. more of my cilantro that I already bolted. If you didn't know already, cilantro does really well in cool weather. And I had tried to grow cilantro many times, and it just didn't work. I was growing them in this hot Houston weather, and one year I was like, you know what, I'm going to just sow it when it's cool out. And what do you know, it did really well over the Houston winter, which that's not much of a winter. Here's the kale I'm trying to grow. There's a different kind of kale in the back. Some more of my cilantro. These are my yellow wax beans. They're supposed to be bush beans, Cherokee wax beans, but I had to stick a pole on them. I don't know what they're going to turn out to be. We'll have to see. This is my sage. It's about a year old. That's one thing I learned about sage also. They like the cool weather. I was able to grow them the same time I did the cilantro. So, in this Houston heat, try to grow them in the wintertime, and by spring you'll have a big sage bush. Some more sage. Oh, look at my patio tomatoes. They're ginormous. I'll have a few tomatoes, not too much. Here's one. That's my first year growing some patio tomatoes. They're determinate tomatoes, so we'll see. I had some indeterminate, they just went crazy. But I'm going to try to grow indeterminate again this year. They're just seedlings right now, and there's my bell pepper. If y'all didn't already know, bell peppers are perennials, and these were last year's plant. Let me get a shot. There's a bell pepper. They're huge. And this is just mid-May, and I already have huge bell peppers because these are last year's plant. Here's some habaneros. These are all last season, and they came back this year. We actually pulled out this whole bed, this container bed, and my husband put a little fabric liner inside, so I held the dirt in, and we pulled all of this soil out and amended it and put in new soil. And these pepper plants, some sweet peppers, habanero peppers, they did pretty well. Oh, here's another pepper plant. 2 huge peppers on them. Wow. I believe these are red and yellow multicolor, so I'm going to let those turn. So don't pull up your pepper plants, because they will continue to live, and this is their second season. In Houston, we have some mild winters. I couldn't really call them winters. Here's a papaya. I have a big container. My mom gave me this papaya. I couldn't ever grow papaya, but I'm going to try this year. Hope I don't kill this one. Here's my zucchini. I'm growing it in a container. It's inside a tomato cage. See if I have any zucchinis. Now it could be yellow squash. I got the seedlings mixed up this year, so it's already in bloom. I don't see any female flowers, but I got a bunch of male ones. I'm going to take you out here. If you have limited space, or you just prefer container garden, you can do it. Let's see, I have my irrigation set up for these raised containers. There you better show the habanero and the bell peppers on the back side. And here's all the zucchinis and yellow squash. I grew them on some leftover containers I just had laying around. Some more containers. Trying to get some bok choy and my herbs growing. I'll show you some more containers. My mom gave me these pepper plants last year and they weren't doing very well. Well, this is their second year growing, but they just really took off this year. There's a little bell pepper in here. I couldn't decide if I wanted to prune these. I was thought about pruning them, but just decided let them go and do their thing. I did prune the bottom, you see, so the leaves don't touch the soil. I just hadn't had time to mulch it. Here's oregano, also in a container. Well, there we go. This is container gardening. If you're like me and don't like to bend over, you can build something like this also. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Bye, y'all.